Good morning. This is Robert with hashtag Flat Earth Proof. What I've got going on, if there's no sound here, please let me know. I want to show you the sun and the moon arrival and setting time, tidal activity. I'm at the Cherry Grove Pier in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And what you're looking at here is the moon set right now, and it's kind of hard to see it. So what I'm going to with that device, what I'll do is activate it with I'll take a picture of it with my P900 and then show you. Okay, this is actual real-time zooming in with the P900. That's a full 85 times or 83 times zoomed in. Where the sun and the moon appear and vanish on the horizon cannot be explained by the spinning globe lie, the global deception. And what I have here is quite a bit of evidence that I've compiled from this location. So yesterday on the Prince Pier right here, I had a live video showing the sun coming up at the end of the point there on the coast. On my local sun video, it appears that the sun was actually setting right about where the moon is right now, and the sun was high in the sky. Right, I'm sorry, the moon was high in the sky. I've got an eclipse, apparently an eclipse video where the moon was coming up way over there. I recorded it from the parking ramp up there at the Prince Resort. Right out here now, hopefully you can see the reflection of the moonlight on the sand right there. This is a little bit tougher in a low light situation here. Yeah, it's harder to see what's going on, but I wanted to establish the date and time and location. Can somebody let me know, is the sound coming through okay? A thumbs up, or sounds okay, or no sound? All right. I don't know if you're able to do that for me. Okay, so a couple other things to consider. This pier faces directly south, off the coast of South Carolina. So the sun came up way to the left side of the camera view, left of center, earlier in the year, in the summer. I would show you from the Prince Pier if I could get up there right now. They're not open for business yet. So I'll do the best that I can with what I have going on here. One of the other things, if I can throw some light on my face, can you hear me now? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? That'd be just great. So I'm going to go ahead and put the numbers once again on the view right here. Cherry Grove inside is what we call this area, at the tides near me. Greetings. Excellent. Glad to see that you can see or hear the sound. Okay, so those are the numbers. The point here is really important, that where the sun and the moon appear and vanish and their duration of visibility can't be explained by the global lie. I'm going to be right back. I need to grab my camera. Okay, so what I'll do here is zoom in on this and show you a photo that I will probably be posting. And I'm going to take a few more right tight up to my face, and then I'll show you after I take them. Okay, so I'm able to get more clarity when I do it like this. So you can see okay, actually what I'm going to do right now, this is for my Facebook Live audience. This will then be converted to a YouTube video. I'm zoomed in on the P900. We have the moon setting right now. This location where we're observing it from is Cherry Grove, South Carolina, at the Prince Resort, Cherry Grove Pier. What you're looking at would be the numbers for today. Cherry Grove inside is a designation utilized for the tides near me to know what the activity for today is. And what I'll do is merge this with the live feed. So those of you watching the live Facebook feed have the benefit of the narration in real time, which establishes the date, time, and location. And then what I'm going to do is add the zoomed in view from the P900. Some of this will be a repeat that I've already mentioned for my live broadcast. What I wanted to simply say is where the sun and the moon appear and vanish on the horizon, and the duration of visibility varies so much that it's proof that it's the sun and the moon and the stars that move, not the earth. The non-moving earth is biblical. It's not one cherry-picked verse. It's not taken out of context. My friend Nathan Roberts wrote a book, The Doctrine of the Shape of the Earth. He has my Curveless, or Your Curveless Earth YouTube channel, and also, let me see, FlatEarthDoctrine.com. And the reality is that you can take your own Bible, whatever version you want, and look up the verses that he's mentioning, and there's no way that the globe spinning, wobbling, gyrating, oblate spheroid hurling through space can be found in the Bible. Not the Bible I read. So anybody that's promoting, any organization promoting the globe, is deceptive, including Creation Ministries International, Kent Ham, and Answers in Genesis. Those are all, they got it wrong. So severely that I would say the globe is a part of the doctrine of demons. It's beyond a human deception. Now, one of the things to keep in mind, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says perpetually to all creation forever, they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So part of what's happening here is that the insincere investigator is going to believe the lie that they want to believe. the way I came at this was I wanted to know the truth more than anything else. The truth, was I actually born again or not? And at the time, I actually wasn't. I needed to be born of God's Spirit. So I encourage everybody to hear, share, and of course, obey God's Word. Bible.com, Bible.is, and by all means, please YouTube Eternal Perspective. Okay, so back to, I ended the P900 video, and now I'm just taking a picture of the moon setting on the horizon there. It's not that I can just extract it from the video, because the video will be a bit lacking in the rendering with the light. The lighting isn't enough with the video. So I've got some zoomed in shots of the moon vanishing here. Pretty amazing, actually. It's pretty well gone now. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, here's a good shot of it. Now this right there is the skyline that my local sun video that was featured on Flat Earth Research and Infinite Earth pages. You can scroll by my Facebook presence and find groups, hashtag Eternal Perspective and Flat Earth and Eternal Perspective and Eternal Perspectives Bible.com. They're all presents that allow me to activate a little bit different mechanism to let people know what I'm talking about here, basically. And one of the reasons that this is important is there's a satanic deception that is so powerful. It's beyond satanic. It actually is, God allows it. The God that created this world allows and causes that spiritual deception for those that insincerely are investigating the situation. So what I am going to do, now that I see there's people allowed up on the pier, I'm going to try and take us up there and keep the broadcast going. The advantage that gives me, if I can successfully navigate this, is that I'll be able to maintain the broadcast and then show you the sunrise from up where I was yesterday. Sometimes I'm not even able to, well, let's see, I'm going to flip this around so you get a better view of where I'm going. This is the Prince Resort. That's pictured on my photo album quite a bit. It's a landmark here in North Myrtle Beach area, Cherry Grove. And yes, I did actually say flat earth proof, so I'm providing it for you. If you want to find it, I believe you will. Let me drop this down a little bit, riding a little high. Are you open to new information that may contradict your currently held beliefs? That's what's really important. Good morning.
Morning.
This is the pier I mentioned yesterday that this large shark was caught off in the 60s. Largest tiger shark caught in the world at that time. They don't allow shark fishing off the pier here any longer. So right down there is where I was. My chair is in the middle of the view. And that is the Myrtle Beach skyline. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and set my equipment right here for now. I've got a little bit more to grab, and I'll go ahead and set this up. We're facing the point in Cherry Grove. That would be east, basically, directly down the middle of the pier. We're looking directly south, and then the moon just sat right over there. And I'll merge the photographs with all of this later. I'm going to go and grab my additional equipment. I want to see which view I want to leave you with while I go and grab my equipment here. Thanks so much for all your public and private encouragement and support. This is really a controversial issue. Oh wow, there's my shadow down there. That's kind of interesting. It's a local light source. Look at how big my shadow is. That's pretty interesting. I don't know how well you can see that. Let's see. There it is, right there, waving on the top of the water there. Now I've got when the sun is creating the light during the day, I've got myself included in pictures that people are taking on the beach. I'm in the shadow. Just kind of interesting, the different things we can show with videography and photography. So I'm gonna be right back. So one of the advantages with having a live broadcast like this is when I end up posting it, you can zoom ahead or back to evaluate the content compared to. Now, once again, we're facing directly south, and the sun is approaching over here. And that's part of what we're looking at now. I'm actually going to keep it in this direction so that you can see what it looks like. And I may be moving us right back up to the end of the pier. And I believe I'll do that right now to establish the location a little bit better. And then you'll be able to see, hopefully, right where the sun showed up yesterday in relationship. It's actually a bit of a trade-off. I'm going to give this a little bit of thought. And here's the reason. This area right here is going to become very busy with people walking on the beach. And that's part of the example, too. It's not just that where the sun and the moon appear and vanish. It also has to do with people enjoying the beauty and majesty of creation. And that's a big part of what I'm wanting to show us, or to show you, essentially. And because of the nature of what just happened here, I turned the view around. I'm gonna go to the forward-facing camera. That's in the proper orientation, proper view. And then I'll just step out in front of the camera for a moment. And what you should be able to notice is the light that's appearing rather subtle. And this is actually a really good time for beautiful pictures to be taken. That's facing directly north, directly west, where the moon just sat, and directly south. So I think I can probably get the best of both worlds by being right over here. I'm going to try this for now. What I believe is also really interesting is the amount of video captures that are, some of them are exclusively on Facebook, and some of them are also concurrently on YouTube. And what I've done is establish a bit of content that proves that it's the sun and the moon and the stars that move, like the Bible says. The earth does not move. How about that? Some of my featured videos have lighting similar to this. So when the sun is low on the horizon, based on perspective, you know, I'm at sea level right now. Where I live 7 miles in or so from here is only about 20 feet above sea level. That being said, I observe the sun and the moon quite a bit from there, and what I wanted to do is establish the known location that you can look at it compared to yourself. This is the Prince Resort, where the Cherry Grove Pier is located, the Boardwalk Cafe, and all of that. You can go to the Prince Resort and go to the Cherry Grove Pier and view the sun and moon rise and set activity from the camera that you can remotely operate from your location. Every now and again, that particular system goes down. I believe it's up and running right now. Wow. That's what that looks like. And it'll look spectacular when it's directly on the computer. Wow. That's what I got to say about that. I'm going to leave you view this as I capture some more shots from different vantage points. Unfortunately, my focus is impaired right now. I'm trying to recover that. And I don't know why it does that. I think it's got to do with the low lighting. My friend Leonard's out there walking on the beach taking photographs. He's been doing this for a long time. I see him out here, most days. He takes some really pretty pictures too. So what I'll do is pick some of the best of these pictures to link to this as well. I'll be back in a minute. So a lot of people come out to the beach searching, and I just wanted to show you that. This is facing Myrtle Beach again, and we've got a beachcomber right there. Watch what the lighting does. It's kind of interesting to me. So people are very reflective that come out here. They reflect off of the sand. They reflect on their life, their past, present, future, and that makes it a wonderful opportunity to interact with. Because I'm wearing the Eternal Perspective shirt, a lot of times people will come up to want to know what I'm doing out here. Eternal Perspective YouTube shirt. And what I'll do, if you want to explore my content, let's see if I can show that a little bit better with a little extra lighting. There we go. And that's an anytime number. Call me anytime you like. It's kind of interesting how the light shows up differently. It's actually one light source. It's kind of funny how that works out. All right, I'm going to take us back over and show you the sun approaching now. One of the wonderful benefits of social media is basically being able to communicate to a lot of individuals, some that are like-minded, some that are maybe curious, maybe they haven't made up their mind yet. I put flat earth proof because what I'm showing is absolute proof that the sun and the moon are what's moving, not the earth. It's only going to be proof if that's what you want it to be. Are you pursuing the truth, or do you want to believe whatever you want to believe? So when people are looking to have their current perspective validated, quite frankly, they're going to find. They're going to find proof to validate what they already believe. Do you want to know the truth, or do you want to examine the proof and have a love for the truth? I'm convinced that that is absolutely a gift from God, is a love for the truth. What the lights on the beach, including the sun, the biggest light of all in the world, not that the light of the sun eclipses the light of the Creator, the Son of God, no. It's just that from the standpoint of lighting up the face of the earth, the sun is the major light source. So what we'll be able to see are the contours, the lighting, the interruptions in the light beam based on waves, perspective, irregularities on the beach, and all of that. And even the beach services vehicle that's approaching right now, picking up, emptying garbage cans there, they're a part of this, showing the light source. And that, I'll be right back. So to be clear, the view today, if I were to stay right here and show the sun approaching, that's going to look, it'll look different than where it appeared yesterday. It appeared right over there when I was on the video showing from the end of the pier, which is roughly 900 feet from this location. 900 feet south, and about 35 feet up above the water. One of the other nice benefits of this area here too is simply the beauty of the sound of the waves. So what I'm going to do is let the waves do the talking for a while as I further set up here. So these are the numbers once again. So the sun should appear about a half hour from now. I'm just going to let this continue to go. Hey, good to see you here. I'll go ahead and show the numbers right today for the view. Let me. Can you hear me? Okay? Is there sound right now? If there's not, please let me know. If you can let me know either way, that'd be great. So I'm going to show the numbers again for today. This is using the Tides Near Me application. You'll be able to see the moon set when the video posts, and I'm going to merge it with some P900 footage as well. And then this video will be converted to a YouTube video. And what I'll end up doing in the description of the Facebook video, I'll have my YouTube link there. So when I'm saying proof of flat Earth proof, hashtag flat Earth proof, I'm not simply just the one short little video is the proof entirely. It's a body of information that I've got included on my YouTube channel, which has over 1,200 videos in my liked video playlist, and there's quite a bit more there as well. So that's the proof, is the content on my Facebook and YouTube channel, Eternal Perspective. So I'll make that visible again. That's my contact information and an anytime number. It's actually a real number. I get calls on that number from all over the world. A lot of encouragement. Very few haters will call that number so far. So I'm gonna pan around once again and show you some of the dynamics here. This is facing directly north, the Prince Resort in Cherry Grove, South Carolina, and the moon sat right in the middle of the view right there. Really easy to see the Myrtle Beach skyline with the naked eye. There's a little bit of a issue with being able to see it crystal clear with the iPhone. What you can do, I know that my videos are a bit long, and that's of course intentional. I'm not just wanting to hear myself talk. I'm showing you as time moves on, some of the dynamics like the tidal activity and where the sun and the moon are and so forth. So I believe that that's actually a really big deal. It shows evidence that the sun and the moon are what are moving. That's what the Bible says, and that's the reality that I observe. there's no way I would subject myself to the public ridicule that I've found in the Flat Earth movement or in the truth movements at large. All of them that I'm involved in. And what's really interesting, some of the various groups that are looking at 9/11 truth or other issues in our world today, some of them get really upset when, like, I or somebody else brings a Flat Earth video or information into the group. And I would simply say, you know, on the way that this kind of works out, when I send a lot of my posts out to a bunch of groups, I'm not intentionally trying to bug people, just so you know. However, I do gain a little bit of pleasure from bugging the haters. Yeah, it's causing the right people to be irritated. That gives me a certain amount of satisfaction as well. Normally, they're enemies of God that will be hating the truth. I just happen to love it. One of the things that happens too, there's a lot of curiosity with what I do, being out in the public like this. And so I'll show you with the lighting here like that, I think you'll be able to see it okay, is the Eternal Perspective shirt. A lot of people walking on the pier, on the beach, and they'll come on up to me and talk to me quite often. And whether they do that or not, they can simply look at the YouTube channel later. You know, without me running up to them wild-eyed and crazy, saying the end is near and the earth is flat, you know, I'm taking breathtaking photography and videography and sharing it to the ends of the earth around the clock, concurrently with the audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation. I have nothing to hide here. I'm not embarrassed. You know what? There may be some people that feel embarrassed for me. Oh well. I'm fine. I'm built for this kind of thing. It's when a pelican takes off, for example, the wind is coming out of the direction of the sunrise. What I'll show you here is my little woolly bear. I got it from Hobby Lobby, about 4 feet of a wired fuzzy thing that you can make crafts out of. And I just wrapped it around my microphone. Hopefully the sound is better. I'm gonna grab my water jug here. I featured it on a photo yesterday. Isn't that cool? Now, this way, you know, there's my drinking water is in there, but I can tip it down and you can see that it'll still level out like that. So like a bubble level, like a carpenter level, is actually utilizing this same principle. So supposedly with spinning, wobbling, and gyrating, even a friendly game of billiards wouldn't be possible. Well, I don't understand gravity. Oh yeah? Yeah, I do. It's a deception. Yeah, a lot of people can't even explain it. They'll say, well, if you don't believe in gravity, do us all a favor and jump off a bridge, jump off a balcony. I'm more dense than the atmosphere. Yeah. Some people might say just stop at the dense part. But no, I'm not a fool. I'm not stupid. I know that the God of the Bible is the real way, the truth, and the light. The biblical definition of a fool is somebody that says there is no God. He is actually evident within his creation, this creation that we're looking at. So in the context of that, hey, welcome. So in the context of looking at the creation, I believe it's only with eyes that love the truth that are going to find out the reality of all of this. Even if you are able to determine, based on your investigation, that we're not on a globe, a person still needs to be born again to even see the kingdom of heaven. That's the big deal of that. So congratulations if you know we're on a globe. Glad to hear that. And then what I would simply encourage everybody to do is to seek the truth with all your heart, so that you'll know the ultimate truth that is the most important. Loud and clear. Thanks, Jimmy. That's awesome. Oh, this has been really a challenge for me. I had to get a new iPhone 10, and then the splitter that combines the sound and the power concurrently. That was a problem. and now it's all good. So yeah, glad to hear it's working out. The little woolly bear. In the sound world, they call it a dead cat. I'm not into that. I've got too many cats. In fact, what's funny is the other day there was a lot of cat activity when I was updating my status in my little chair, my command center there. And I turned on the light, and it was a little tree frog. He must have jumped on me when I walked in the door. There's a little tree frog that likes to stick to the side of the house or the window. Well, evidently he jumped on me. He's there today. I was able to catch him and let him go. We've got 8 cats in the house, and they've got tools to do some damage, but they didn't hurt him. Evidently, he's looking good. So one of the things too, I'm not just presenting the proof as you're looking at. It's more than that. It'll also be people that are brave enough to align themselves with other truth tellers on this topic. So the proof is also in the thread, the proclamations that people are making. That's part of it as well. I learned how to navigate the social media platforms, and glad you like it. Thanks. The interesting dynamic with all of this is that the artificial intelligence is very active on trying to manage the information that's going out. Along with the truth is also deception. And by very definition, deception is different than a lie. Deception includes a fair amount of accurate information to really confuse the issue. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just pan around so you can see how the light is throwing, how it's, as the light approaches, as the sun approaches, we can see that. So in effect, somebody will say, oh, it's a 4-hour video or a 12-hour video. Who has time for that? Well, what I would simply say is, if you don't want to hear what I have to say, you can put anything else on. And then the other thing, you can scroll through the broadcast or the post later. You can take the cursor and move it from one side to the other in a few seconds. If you want to view it kind of like a time lapse, and if there's an area that particularly interests you, you can look at that. Now, right down in the middle of the view there is what we refer to in this area as the point in Cherry Grove. You can even look at it on my photo album. A lot of photos taken there. There's horses on the island down there, eagles up in the trees, kayakers. I even have a little potbelly pig that's in a kayak with he's got a life vest on. kind of interesting. I've got some really cool friends over at Aloha Water Sports that give people parasailing rides. Well, they've got a cute little potbelly pig they call Pringle, and he had his life vest on. And then Koa, their puppy. I throw the tennis ball for Koa quite a bit when I go over there, and the sand and the salt water and the dog spit go flying off of it. There's no way that water is going to stick to a spinning, wobbling, gyrating oblate spheroid. Plus, the other thing is, when NASA gives us pictures, they show us the same size ball with different size continents. That's not real. They're lying. So NASA is a deceptive organization. I prefer the truth. So sometimes I like my highly purified solar activated water with a little coffee in it and coconut oil. I make an emulsion and using the Ninja, and it's great. I add a little bit of ice to it, so it's just like a little bit above body temperature, which keeps it really a nice mix. This right here is a repurposed salsa bottle with my highly nutrient-dense food. I'm going to give you the ingredients in it right now. Spinach, kale, chia seed, hemp hearts, apple cider vinegar, mixed berries, prunes, bananas, and broccoli. Yeah, it's awesome. And so part of the dynamic too, oh, let's get that seagull flying at us. There he is. So part of the dynamic too, to get up and do this today, like I was up at like maybe 3:30, like 3 hours ahead of time, ahead of the moon, or the sun appearing, but I had the moon set that I wanted to catch too. And yes, of course, the water still seeks its level. Since the water is more dense than the atmosphere, it'll just fall down. I could take this empty bottle with the cap on it and it would float out in the water, no problem, right? You know that. Message in a bottle. This is a message in a bottle. I've been drinking it. You can see the levels a bit lower. No matter what angle I put this, it'll level out. Let me just hold it a little still. Let's do this. Right now there's probably about a 7-mile-an-hour breeze coming out of the northeast there. Good morning. So as the layers of water come in, if you scroll through my my videos, they're just a wonderful example of really flat water. And what I've done with some of this is merged an audio Bible along with it. I've got some broadcasts that are actually on a YouTube. What I can do is with just short of 12 hours, it will archive. So that's what I'll do. One of the first broadcasts I did for Beach Renourishment was 23 hours long, and none of it archived. Not even a minute of it. So I had to get up and do it again. It was pretty cool. I got a lot of interesting content presented in there, and there's tidal activity that you can see in the various locations here. So now that, wow, this is looking really pretty. So check this out. In the summer, from this vantage point right here, the sun was coming up way over here. In the winter, it's going to come up way over here. Today, it should show up in this area. And correspondingly, it will vanish at different vantage points on the horizon as well. That's part of the dynamic that is important to understand about this, is that it's about perspective and location. So when the sun is approaching, or vanishing a perspective, a location, there's going to be shooting through a lot of the clouds that are lower in our atmosphere. The flood that Noah prepared for covered the face of the earth to over the tops of however tall the mountains were then. We've got mountains right now that are Mount Everest, 5.5 miles tall. That may be one of the highest, it is one of the highest points we know of. there could be other locations that we're unaware of as well. By irony and paradox, we don't know what we don't know. With pride as a powerful catalyst for deception, the proud individuals are very easily deceived. And pride is part of the human nature. That's part of the dynamic with this. So proud people, they're not going to get this. Or they may, but they may miss the most important issues. So like what I'm going to show you is my water bottle there. Let me pan this around. And when people are walking, sometimes it'll move. I'll just add a little movement to that. See how easy that is to see the movement? And then it calms right down. So for a few weeks I had a 2-foot contractor level. Well, it'd be like that big. That's like 2 feet, but you can't see my hands now. So anyway, I had a carpenter level on my window ledge. It didn't budge unless one of the cats hit it, jumping around. But yeah, the little bubble in the middle there, it didn't move. So I'll pan right on down. The railing moves a little bit with people leaning on it and walking on the pier. And then the waves hitting the pier actually creates a good amount of movement out there that I can feel. So right now, the tide is coming in. I'm gonna show the numbers up there again for people that recently signed on. What you've got to look forward to when you go back is to see the moon set on this video at the beginning of the video. Tomorrow morning, we should have 100% moon at the moon set. And it should be real close to the sunrise. Now there's the tidal activity. Now what's really interesting about this too is the tide is going to be about 1 hour and 15 minutes ahead of the tidal activity right down there in the Myrtle Beach area. One of the helpful apps that I include on my profile and videos sometimes would be earthcurvature.com, and it'll calculate out the curvature you should be able to see if it were there. It's not there. The x-axis, left to right, there's no visible curvature. Back to the flood that Noah prepared for. You can't get water to stick to a spinning ball. So 5.5 miles of water higher than here. Really? Yeah, but I don't understand gravity. I've covered that. It's a lie. it's a part of perception. A bunch of fancy words to describe a lie. Yeah, there's differences in density and mass. Buoyancy. Lighter than allows flotation. Heavier than allows sinking. A rock will fall through the air and fall right to the bottom of the ocean, whereas a helium balloon would float up from the water and go right up into the air. Okay, so when God flooded this world in Genesis, the Genesis flood account, the floodgates of heaven opened up. There's a lot of water up above the firmament up there. Okay, and then the fountains of the deep also opened up. Maybe you've seen big fountains or floodgates. A lot of water can move quickly. And then it started raining. 3 water sources. So answers in Genesis, big fail. A big fail on biblical cosmology. There are other supposed Christian ministries that are deceptive. But see, I perpetuated the global deception when we homeschooled our sons, they're all adults now. We perpetuated it with little, with the global lie. We didn't even know it was a lie. We knew we didn't come from monkeys. We thought Bill Nye was fun to watch on learning science things. But he was deceptive as well. And still is. So I'm all about loving the truth and exposing the truth about the reality of the world that we live in. So this would be intuitive shooting, just holding it up there like that, lining it right up and taking the shot. So every now and again I get criticized, as I'm sure you know, sending the hashtag flat earth proof. Where's the proof? Well, like I've said earlier in the video, it's not just this video, although that is substantial amount of evidence that where the sun and the moon appear and vanish, what I'm talking about. But it's also the link of my YouTube video, YouTube channel, I should say, that you can evaluate. And this information is not just my own created content. There's a lot of really good, solid documentaries that expose the reality of the stationary Earth with the sun and the moon and the stars that move above the Earth. So we're about 7 minutes away from having the sun appear, if it were clear enough. It looks like we've got some cloud cover down low, which intentionally is some of what I show on my videos, where and photographs. That marine layer that's above the water. It's one of the reasons why we can't see other continents, even with the most powerful telescope, because of the light reflecting on the droplets of water, the humidity, the atmospheric cleansing, refraction. I know a lot of fancy too. I'd be happy to debate anybody. That's not arrogant, that's just the reality of it. The truth exposes the reality of the world that we live in. And the Bible talks about the Great Flood, creation, and all of that. Is it a science book? Well, it exposes the science fiction. That works for me. So it may not include all the science that is known. It just talks about what's really important. The creation has the Creator's fingerprints all over it. He's evident within his creation. So proof of creation, when I make that proclamation, hashtag proof of creation, when we're looking at human beings walking on the beach, that's part of it. There are too many events that would need to occur in a human being for it to evolve over years and come from different species. That's not even possible. However, for the people that want to be their whatever gender they want to be, that could be a problem for them. They're not going to like the God of the Bible, right? So they'll come up with a God of their own making, themselves, to do their own thing. So as water reflects man's face, here we've got a couple, one reflecting, one not as much, right? And that's part of the dynamic. Is that what Scripture says about this is, as water reflects a man's face, God's word reflects the man. When I thought I was born again and I was still struggling with drug addiction and alcoholism, I wanted to know what's up with that. And when I say drugs, so it wasn't just illegal drugs, it was pharmaceuticals that were prescribed and taken as directed, and they were killing me. They made me try to kill myself. Yeah. Prozac and Depakote have a high morbidity rate. The last one I was on, I've been off of all the drugs for over 4 years now. The last one was an antipsychotic which blocks the learning center in the brain, the ability to retrieve, remember and retrieve information, and to learn, okay? I burned my hand one time, this hand, on an electric stove. Yeah, well, I didn't learn that lesson with crashing cars, losing jobs, relationships, with alcoholism. I just couldn't learn that. But that's part of the deal. The pharmaceuticals, in my case, actually were a catalyst for drug addiction and alcoholism. And pleasure seeking. I wanted to do whatever I could do to feel better. The dopamine blocker is what an antipsychotic is, and it basically took away the pleasure of life. Who would want to take a drug that took the pleasure out of life, blocked the reward center, as it's also known as? So I was a drooling vegetable. I couldn't remember and retrieve information. 2 minutes from when the sun would appear on a crisp, clear day. Not a whole lot of movement in that water, is there? In the jug. Families fishing, wonderful thing. Higher is drier, lower is wetter, all over the face of the earth. Now that's the Myrtle Beach skyline, hard to see it because of all the moisture in the air. We could see it earlier with less ambient light surrounding the artificial light. In other words, it was darker out, and we could see lights in the sky, lights from the buildings and that. Just like these lights up there, we can see them better than if they were not on. So when I drive, my lights are on for safety. I ride a motorcycle. I avoided a nearly fatal or a potentially fatal motorcycle accident within the last 2 weeks. Actually, it was about a month ago. Yeah, somebody would have hit me really hard. I had to pace of action. One of my photos on my photo album is me racing motocross. I had a professional level of skill on motocross. I wouldn't get on a dirt bike and do those kind of things today. However, I could still ride really fast on different street bikes and dirt bikes and that, motocross bikes or jet skis that I race, that kind of thing. The wheels are like a gyroscope, and I had to push really hard on the right side of the handlebar to make the bike go really quick to the right, because the car was coming from the left and would have hit me right into other vehicles. At the time, I wasn't wearing my helmet. Yeah. Getting killed doesn't bother me as much as being a drooling vegetable. So I'm wearing my helmet more. I would always carry it with me, but having it on my head is going to be more effective than on the backrest. So with all the people on the beach, quite often the people walking have their cell phone. Oh, there's the sun right there. Bam. I'm going to zoom in on it and I'll do some narration. Okay, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Eternal Perspective. I'm zooming in on the sunrise right now on the Cherry Grove Pier from the Cherry Grove Pier, I should say. I will link the videos on my live Facebook broadcast once I get home and turn it to a YouTube broadcast. It's proof of the flat Earth proof is what it is. And when I say flat Earth proof, I'm not just talking about this video. It's the content that's on my Facebook and YouTube channel, which will be linked on this. So if you want to find the truth about the shape of the world, we live on a stationary level plane. Water covers the face of the earth, fills its container, and doesn't stick to a spinning ball. Where the sun and the moon appear and vanish on the horizon, and their duration of visibility in relationship to one another can't be explained by a uniform rotation of a spinning, wobbling, oblate spheroid. It's not possible. The x-axis is the horizon, the left to right, and there is no curvature visible on that. 8 inches per mile squared. EarthCurvature.com is a helpful app that you can explore and look at this if you care to, or just scroll on by. I've got a lot of fascinating content on videos as well as photography. For the Facebook viewing right now, wait until you see the video that'll be posted in within the next couple hours. One of the reasons we can't see other continents from here is because of the atmospheric lensing, the reflection of the light from the sun and the moon off of humidity, fine atomized droplets of water. Wow. That was, I just kept this continuously recording. I'm going to have to go back and see how that happened. The app that I use is called Tides Near Me. I'm going to put that up here for my P900 viewers. And today the moon sat right over there. I'll have it linked in another video, and you can see the times on that as well to confirm it. One of the reasons to put all this together is to give people evidence of the movement of the sun and the moon, and the fact that we live on a stationary Earth. It's not moving. The water moves, the wind moves, the clouds move, the earth does not move. That's biblical, and that's reality. Whether you like it or not, the fact that we live in a created world, and I believe the God of the Bible is the creator that created this place. Whether you like it or not, the truth is the truth no matter how few people believe it, and a lie is still a lie no matter how many people believe it. Truth isn't determined by popularity. There's truth, and then there's deception. Satan is the father of lies. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light. No matter how many of these conspiracy realities you're able to determine, you still need to be born again to even see the kingdom of heaven. So I'm going to zoom out on my Facebook broadcast so you can see that a little bit differently. So we don't notice any big fireballs shooting off of the sun. I don't, unless it's on computer graphic imagery that NASA provides or the other deceptive organizations promoting a sun that's 93 million miles away. I don't know how far away the sun actually is. It's relatively close, so is the moon, as best I can tell. So I've been hashtagging different terms and titling my videos. Each one of my videos and photos is like a little digital billboard out there to get people's attention to explore this. And for those that want to just scroll on by and write me off as, not just me, to write people off as crackpots or crazy that aren't going along with the official lie, that's part of the sorting process as well. It shows the absurdity of the globe and the people's ability to believe this massive lie. A godless cosmic Big Bang, that's why they lie. They want people to believe that we have no real purpose in this world. Meaninglessness. That's what they would have us believe in. Purposelessness. Look at how much we're able to see the lighting on that vehicle in comparison to all the other surroundings. It really pops. So lighthouses on the horizon are a big clue if you're going to go on a cruise. Take note of that. The lights on the horizon from distant cities and all that, those are clues. The breaks and the reflections right in front of your eyes right now on the video, those are clues. The irregularities in the surface. Out on the pier yesterday, about 900 feet down from here, what you can see, if you care to, is a much different appearance. The water is much flatter. God set the boundaries of the water. We can tell that that's the case because of the billions of dollars of architecture all along the coastlines of the world. I'll be getting the P1000 camera soon, the early part of September, and hopefully I'll, well, I've got my batteries all charged up and I'm all fired up, ready to take it on out and show you the world from a different perspective. As fascinating as the footage is with the technology like this, if it's sitting on my dresser at home and I'm sleeping in, none of it's going to happen. So I'll take it live, get the rest I need when I need to show you this type of content. People going out on a dolphin tour, looks like this morning. So for the live Facebook audience, you can't see it right now. However, zoomed in with this camera, you'll be able to see it later on. One of the other practical advantages, right now I've got a group of people taking photographs and video. They look from, like, maybe from India, a couple of the gentlemen. And I do meet people from all over the world, many different continents, right here in North Myrtle Beach, from China, Europe, all over the place. And they'll actually come up and talk to me. And even if they don't, they can see my Eternal Perspective shirt or the logo on my car. I'm planning on attending the Skyfall Conference in Alabama. Biblical Prophecy Conference should be wonderful. Please check it out if you care to. And as well as the Flat Earth International Conference in Denver, Colorado in October. Robbie Davidson is organizing that, and there should be some excellent content there as well. Some of the benefits of that large conference is that there will be multiple media sources. Crews from all over the world will be converging there, different countries, and there will be coverage worldwide of that event. And I'll be there too, covering it as well. A little bit different than last year. But one of the advantages that I had with last year, just to be clear, I had an opportunity to actually be seen millions of times. And I think that that's a big deal. It's a real big deal for a guy like me who has a passion to expose the reality of the world that we live in using technology like this. Using this technology right here. This is recording right now. It's kind of interesting. Let's see if I can put the flash in the camera. There it is. I believe that's how I got the eagle to look at me when I was videoing him. I was in Wisconsin, and there was a bald eagle in a tree, and all of a sudden he snapped his head and looked over at me right directly in my lens. It kind of freaked me out. It's like, wow, that's an excellent shot. Well, the flash on the lens, the lighting made a difference. He could see me really easily. I've got videography and photography of birds, like an osprey capturing a fish and taking it for probably its only flight. And pelicans diving and all of that. The technology is amazing. So there's this me right now that you see right on the camera, right in this live view, but it's actually about 7 seconds delayed. And then there's the digital me that'll be out there as long as God allows it to be there. Satan will use who and what he can. The God who created this world will use it all, including Satan. Satan works the deceptive part of this whole arrangement. He's the deceiver. All of God's children will absolutely be born of his Spirit at some point in the human experience. To that end, I labor. That's why I'm unapologetically biblical, because I am one of the changed lives. The short version is I thought I was born again until I actually was. That may be the first time you ever heard me say that. If you've been following me for a while, it may be the 1000th time you've heard me say that. I say it often, it's a big deal. For those of you who are turned off by religiosity and snake oil salesmen and charlatans, keep in mind, I was a hypocrite. I was one of those people, not ripping people off for profit. I was just deceived and didn't know it. By irony and paradox, the deceived don't know they're deceived. With pride as a powerful catalyst, they don't know that they don't know. They'll think themselves very well informed and aware of the situation. And then it's like confirmation bias kicks in. The insincere investigator is going to believe the lie they want to believe. What biblical reference do I have for that? Or God's grace is required to love and believe the truth. So here it is, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. They refused to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So keep in mind, Satan will use who and what he can. God uses it all for his purposes and his glory. I know that people that believe we're on a spinning globe hurling through space, wobbling and gyrating, they're deceived. If they can't see the obvious deception of that, it's beyond the amount of evidence that they're exposed to.
It's got to do with their heart. That's why I say it's only by God's grace that anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. So the vibration that you saw in the camera was the fishing cart being pulled behind me right there. It made the water bottle wiggle. I could feel it in my feet. When I'm walking out on the beach on a calm day, no wind, I don't feel any movement at all. When I'm out on the pier, I can feel the movement of the pier. Absolutely. When I'm driving the car, I can tell when I'm turning one way or another, going up or down. All the different sensors in our body, I'm just very attuned to that. When I was born again about 4 years ago, I got unplugged from the matrix of deception, largely. I watch very little television programming. What I do have is the videos like this, or more specifically my audio Bible videos playing on my TV at home using the Google Chromecast. And the Google Chromecast allows me to play my YouTube channel or my desktop, my computer, on my TV over the bed. So my bed faces over the ocean about 7 miles inland. And then I've got mirrors all around, not so that I can see myself. I'm keeping an eye, on where the moon is and the sun and the cloud activity. Also the wind on the trees. All of that goes into some of the videography and photography that I have. One of the reasons why I mentioned healthy nutrition earlier is simply because I've got to have a lot of energy and be rested up when I need to do what I need to do to bring you this kind of content. So I went to bed relatively early last night, around when the sun went down. Well, to get to go to bed before 8 o'clock or around 8 o'clock, that seems early until you get up at like I do. I'll get up at 7, or I'm sorry, like 3:30 today to do that. So now in the view, I can see a boat with the, it's an obvious boat. It's on the water, and the light was reflecting off of the sun, off of some glass there. Part of the reason to show this and even comment on it would be some of the atmospheric limitations. That boat is a few miles away, and we can't see all of it because of moisture. The water movement here I took is really interesting. So I was about this distance away from the Big M casino boat that is maybe 5 miles away from here, and I took 4 photographs in 3 seconds, and on one of the videos I could see about 20 feet more of the side of the ship, based on a big bunch of water, not a wave, but it was like a bulge of water moving. So it could be that the fountains of the deep accounted for in Genesis are still active. I know that he stopped them at some point, and the water receded. We know that. Did they open back up and suck all the water in, the excess water? Could be. We don't have like a pizza with water continually falling off the edge. That was part of the original programming of deception, or a turtle supporting the earth. That's all not biblical. You can go to Genesis and learn the proclamation of what Scripture says of creation. Oh, by the way, the earth was created days before the sun. That should give you pause. think about it. For those of you who are biblical scholars that get the globe out of the Bible, you're deceived. There's no nice way of saying that. I put my mug on there for emphasis. If you believe the Bible is true and you believe we live on a globe, I know you're deceived. I would even ask you the question, are you sure that you're actually born again? That's a big deal. Because I'm the guy that continually says, thought I was born again until I actually was. That is a big deal. No matter how many of these conspiracies you're able to determine, what really matters is, are you actually born of God's Spirit? Part of the evidence for me that happened recently was being set free from a life of addiction and more. When I say and more, I mean, I didn't even used to like cats. We've got 8 cats and I love them all. I've got a different change of personality. I'm not easily angered. I drive the speed limit. I have a picture of and a video connected where it shows a vehicle accident. 2 vehicles smashed into one another. And I'm going to narrate this right now and explain something to you. Okay, so what happened, years ago, our son Austin was coming back from college, and then he was nearly T-boned in right where this accident occurred, right nearby our house. And I said, son, how where are you going? He said, it doesn't matter. I said, I mean, how fast were you going from Conway to here? He said, about 7 miles an hour over. I said, well, if you would have been going the speed limit, you would have never even seen that car, even though it was his fault. You could have been killed in another accident, no doubt, to be intellectually honest. But the reality of it is, going the speed limit makes sense. The question that I have on the video and the photo is why? Why did that accident occur? Were they texting? Did they get distracted from something? Did they get distracted by something? I mean, I'll be on the phone, I'll be broadcasting, all of that while I'm driving. I just give a primary focus to my drive. I can multitask. Right now in this location, it's not illegal for me to have a broadcast while I'm driving. If that happens sometime, then I'll comply with that. When I go to Alabama for the Skyfall Conference in Colorado, I'll be doing some broadcasts, some commentary, some live Bible broadcasts. I may go directly to YouTube because it'll allow me up to almost a 12-hour archive of a video. What a beautiful day. This live broadcast is approaching the end. I will go home and download and upload, convert it to a YouTube broadcast. Feel free to share it if you like. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you care to. Eternal Perspective. Thanks for sharing. I really appreciate that. I've got a video where it appears like the sun is in the clouds. You can find it on my Facebook or on my YouTube video. It's called, I believe, Sun in the Clouds. That was shared over 14,000 times. I didn't do that all myself. I had a lot of help from friends. In the video, it's truly amazing the way the sun appears to be in the clouds. The moon was high in the sky, and I was proclaiming it takes less than a day to hear the entire New Testament. Also, you should know it takes less than 77 hours to hear the entire Bible. Some prefer reading the Bible. I prefer listening to God's Word because I can do it while I'm sleeping, almost getting killed on a motorcycle. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, that's how it was. So, yeah, I was listening to the Bible as I was almost getting killed. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So thank you so much for the likes, the shares, the public and private encouragement. People come from all over the world to enjoy the beauty and majesty of creation here in the Myrtle Beach Grand Strand area. In 2018, we were projected to have 20 million guests here. What a beautiful place to explore. I have flat earth meetups here every day, wherever I am. But it's not just about the shape of the earth, it's about the shape of the soul. It's about handing out invitations for eternity to hear, share, and of course, obey God's Word. Bible.com and Bible.is make God's Word available for free, as well as YouTube Eternal Perspective. So what I just finished up with the about 27 minutes and some seconds of the video of this. Let's throw the flash in there again. Isn't that fun? You never get tired of this stuff. The shadows and reflections are a big deal. This is all in reverse now. So what I'm going to do is flip this around and see what I can do with just my looking at the glass on the face of the camera. So I want to have this set up so it's pretty level. And part of what I do is evaluate the content. I don't watch every minute of my videos. I just want to see how it's working out. How does the content actually show up? I think I'm a little bit low there. I think I need to pan up a little bit or back up a little bit. So right now I should be getting a blast of light right in my eyes from the glass on the front of the camera. I can see the vibration of the cooler going out. I can feel it in my feet. The clues are all around us of the creation that we live in. This little woolly bear that I got from, I got about 3 feet of it from Hobby Lobby. You can wrap them around a microphone. This is the Sony earbud. I'll sleep with them on. They work really good for that. I enjoy hearing God's Word or meditating on it around the clock, day and night. For those that think that maybe I have too much of an emphasis on flat earth, I would say contraire. Not too much. Because of my activity in here, the efforts that I have to share God's Word to the ends of the earth around the clock is being multiplied by the people that help me do that. So thanks to all of you for helping me do that. It's part of the Great Commission, basically. And exposing the deeds of darkness is an important thing. Letting people know the reality of the world that we actually live in. So now to finish up here, I think I'll just let this roll for a minute, and let's put one more evidence right there for you to consider. our practical interaction with water exposes the impossibility of water sticking to a ball. It's impossible. Let me move my stuff out of the way here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's do it like this. That's what water does. It seeks its level. That's what it's doing in the view right now. The tide is coming in. And then the tide is going out. Think of like the Otis Redding song, sitting on the dock of the bay watching the tide roll away. You know, when we kind of look at our life, or I should say, as I reflect on my life experience, what I've seen, what the people I've met and talked to and learned from, I'm a bit of an amalgamation of meeting a lot of very interesting people, and yeah, I do listen. I listen to what they have to say, as well. So, thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. I'm going to go ahead and load this up to YouTube along with some other captures I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much. Please visit my YouTube channel, Eternal Perspective.